Welcome you and to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about, say it with me, you already know it, Latino everything. Thank you very much for being here on another episode. You already know the business. Go and subscribe to the channel because why? It's important. We're getting real close to, by the time I know that by the time this episode premieres, we're going to have 1,000 subscribers, and it's all thanks to you. So thank you very much. It's been a long process. Big shout out going out to WSB for providing the beautiful space for us to do the episode. Today, we have an amazing episode because we have a model, actor, young podcaster, been doing her thing for some time. You might recognize her if you're here on the video. Kimberly Sanchez, a.k.a. Kimbo of Kimbo Slice podcast, correct?
Kimbo Slice of Life, yes.
Kimbo Slice of Life. Did you know that Kimbo Slice is an MMA fighter?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that got something to do with your name, picking your name, or just because Kimberly, they call you Kimbo?
Well, it was actually my cousin used to call me Kimbo Slice, and I never knew who that was back then when I was younger. And he's like, oh, he's a fighter. And I was like, oh. And so it kind of stuck. But then I was like, well, I can't take his name, so I might have to change up the spelling or something, because
okay.
I mean, you know.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
The name of the podcast and how you came up with it. But first of all, we're going to do a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. Preguntas al Chile are fun, rapid fire questions. Do you like this? Do you like that? Are you ready?
Ready.
Corn tortillas or flour tortillas?
Corn.
Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
Gorditas o sopes?
I don't know what.
Gorditas or
No,
sopes?
I don't know what sopes is.
Sopes are kind of almost the same thing, except the stuff with different stuff. They cut them halfway.
I'm going to say
with
gorditas
gorditas.
since I don't know.
Good choice. Mexican coca or jarritos? The jarrito drinks, the Mexican drinks?
Jarritos.
Which flavor?
The red.
I like the red one too. But I
Is
like
it
the
fruit pie?
piña.
What is it? I don't even know.
Was that? Tutti frutti, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I've been wrong today a few times already. Okay. Agua de horchata, the flavor waters, not spa waters, the aguas frescas, horchata, jamaica, or tamarindo. Which one do you like best?
I don't like milk, so.
Yeah, you're more
The horchata reminds me of.
has milk.
Yeah.
I don't do milk either.
So.
But you do pizza.
I do, but it's cheese.
Ah. My mom
It's not liquid.
My mom does the same thing. She likes every product of milk except for milk.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will not.
Okay,
Drink.
so which one would you pick? Jamaica is the hibiscus, or tamarindo is like the brownish looking type of water? Aguas frescas?
Yeah.
We'll go with the hibiscus. I feel like you're a hibiscus.
Because
Red water.
I like it, but I just feel like it's not sweet.
Yeah, true that. It depends on who makes it too, though, because some people like to throw in the sugar. So, okay, salsa verde, salsa roja. Do you care for any spicy food?
Not the green sauce, the red sauce.
The red
sure.
sauce?
Yeah.
Did you know I met somebody that's allergic to peppers?
Really?
Yes. It's a real deal. It's a real thing. It's one of our guests. And she's a chef too. She cooks.
Oh, man.
That's crazy, right? I know. The things I learned here. Menudo, pozole. Do you care for any of them? Do you know what those are?
Pozole.
Yeah. Good choice. Churros or flan?
Churros.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hot sauce. I don't know if you've seen it before. Tapatio, Cholula, Tabasco. Hot sauce.
Not really hot sauce.
Not really a hot sauce person. Not hot sauce on your pizza either? Okay. I know your favorite type of pizza is pepperoni.
Yeah.
However, would you just like regular pizza or not thin crust, but deep dish or regular pizza?
Regular.
Regular?
For sure.
Nice. Too much bread for the deep dish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then thin crust tastes like cardboard.
True that. Don't go to Italy. That's all they do. It's like crackers. True that. Okay. And conchita breads, the pastries. Do you like the brown ones, the white ones, or the pink ones?
Pink.
Pink, all the way. When was the last time you did something for the first time?
I'm going to use my question on me.
I really thoroughly enjoy that question. So I'm like, oh, that's a really good one.
I've I've been the one asking all the questions. I haven't
Yes.
been
Yes.
the one answering them. So this is the first time that I've done
Absolutely.
something.
So take your time. So what is something that the last time you did something for the first time? Do you recall?
This.
This. Oh, that was your answer. Just went over my head big time. So a podcast, of course, we're gonna talk more about how you got started, everything else that you do. You are a podcaster yourself. You have been doing it for almost about a year and some change. And
Not the podcast.
not the podcast.
I just started in April.
8 months ago is the last
No,
first
April.
episode.
So it was like
Really?
4 months ago.
4 months ago. Really? Okay. My bad. Again, I've been wrong today a few times. And it just keeps adding up. It's okay. Do you believe in conspiracy theories? Are you into conspiracy theories? Do you care about them at all? Not really.
I don't know if you would call it a conspiracy theory, but my grandma used to be like, "Don't ever put your purse on the floor because it's like bad luck." I don't know if that's considered a conspiracy theory or is it just the
What is the
Hispanic or what? But yeah,
You have the word, Carlos, and I
don't know what is that called?
superstition. Superstition.
Oh, there you go.
That's more of a superstition. But, I mean, some people could call it a conspiracy too. Yeah, that was a good one. We'll go with that. The Latino, when you first hear the phrase Latino, Latina, what first comes to mind to you?
Since I'm from Corpus, Selena.
Selena.
Yeah.
Yeah. No right and wrong answers. I always thoroughly like to hear any kind of answer that you have because I think the phrase itself, like all kinds of things come to mind and everybody's always different. So, Selena, do you care to be called Latina? Do you consider yourself Latina? Do you prefer to be just American, human being, whatever the case might be for you?
Hispanic.
Hispanic?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's get into your story. If you don't mind me, you were born in Corpus Christi and you got here about 2008?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, do you know if your family's always been from Texas or did they ever come from like, I don't know, another different part of the country, Latin America country, Mexico, anything like that?
All I know is like my grandpa was from like the valley, the
Yeah.
Rio Grande. Yeah. But other than that, I don't know like beyond.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Most likely he was always been there and he's always been Texan and never anything else. And there's a lot of people that live here in the Valley area. They're always generations. They go back many generations. So when did you originally start doing modeling? I know it was by accident when your friends and you used to take pictures. And then that's how it kind of got started. Do you remember when was the first time you were approached to see if you wanted to do modeling? Because you also do modeling, commercial modeling, and what is the other type of modeling that you do?
Just commercial. Because
Commercial.
I'm not like tall enough for high fashion.
What is the height requirement for that?
Like 5'7", 5'8".
And you're
I'm 5'6", so
just about little.
yeah.
Even with high heels, they don't let you in.
No, I think without high heels, you need to be 5'7", 5'8",
Yeah.
or taller. And I'm 5'6" without high heels. So
And so for me, like I don't know anything about modeling, but if it was about commercial, what does it mean necessarily for like commercials, like
commercial is like your commercials you see,
Yep.
or we call them print ads. So like JCPenney's, just stuff like that. That's called print, but that's still considered commercial acting
oh
or
nice.
modeling, or both.
So
Actually.
do you do both? Do you do
Yeah.
the acting and do you also do? I don't know if you do walk the wrong way or not, walk the runway, or just pictures. Do you do all that also?
No, the runway. Again, it's a high requirement.
Really?
Majority of the time, if you're doing New York Fashion or Week, if you're doing the big runways, yeah, it's high requirement. So I don't do runway.
That's crazy. That they do high requirements that they don't let you walk. I'm just curious. Did you ever look into why they do that? It's just their standards that they have for.
I think it's just the modeling standards that it's been like that for years. And I mean, it's changing a little bit, but I haven't dug deep into the runway because I feel like it's not my niche. I like the commercials, the print
Correct.
ads,
All right. So when was the first opportunities that the commercial modeling, whether it be print or whether it be commercials, come to you?
Well, when I got signed with an agent in January 2021. So
Which is Boysen Talent Agency? Is that the one you're currently with, or is that somebody else?
that's the one I'm with.
Okay.
Yeah, now. But I was with a different agent.
Okay, I got you.
I went with Boysen in September, so it's almost been a year that I've been with them.
How did they find you, the first agency? How was it that did they see, did you send them a portfolio? Were they looking for somebody? Did they hit you in the DM?
So I went to a modeling school in mid-COVID, like July 2020.
Wow.
So I went to that modeling school. It was like a 5-month program, and I had finished in December 2020. And so during that program, they teach you they teach you about the modeling and talent agencies, which is acting
Gotcha.
in the DFW area. So there were one I had my eye on for the longest time during that program. And so when I finished in December, in January is when I was like, okay, I'm going to submit myself. And so I had, a portfolio of pictures and headshots and everything. So I submitted, and they called me back a couple days later, and that's when they signed me.
Wow. So during that time of the modeling school, they teach you all the fundamentals as far as like how to stand, how to talk, and create your portfolio and everything. So you be ready to go whenever you are out of the graduate. They do graduations.
Right. I don't know what happened, but the graduation for my class, I don't know if it's because of COVID, it was conflicting, but that graduation wasn't until September, and I had finished the program December 2020. And so it was 9 months later, and I was like, I'm not gonna wait 9 months to put myself out there because agencies will go to the graduation, they invite agencies to the graduation and everything.
Nice.
So it's a nice gathering, but I was like, personally, for me, I was like, I don't want to wait that long, So I took it upon myself, and I reached out to the agency in January. And so I was already signed by the time graduation came.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So during school, whenever you were in school, you were one of the older students there at that time. If I'm not mistaken, you were one of the elders. How did it keep you from? Because sometimes you might feel out of place going to a place thinking, dreaming, hoping, whatever the case might be, whatever the desire was to get you to school. But then when you get there, you see that there's a bunch of younger people than you, and you'll be maybe a little bit discouraging or not. Did any of those thoughts cross your mind at all?
Well, it was a little discouraging because I was like, I'm the oldest one here. Because I didn't know, one of the girls I became super close with, she was 19 at that time.
Oh, wow.
And I was older.
More mature. You were more mature.
But her maturity level, we clicked just like that. So I was able to, I made a friend, but I was like, dang, how did, she knew right out of high school she wanted to model. And for me, it was I had other plans. Modeling never, ever crossed my mind. So I was just like, well, sometimes I would dang, I'm old. But if you would have asked me if modeling was what I wanted to do, I wouldn't have said yes, because I didn't know I wanted to do it. I just felt like it found me. So I was like, well, it is what it is. Even though I know I don't look my age, which is good. So I guess that kind of have to remind myself.
You got the genetics. Good
yeah.
genes.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit because I don't think I got to what made you want to drive to go find the school to start modeling to begin? Because I know you said your friend and y'all were taking pictures, and all of a sudden from there, where did it turn to? Where you wanted to take it serious and find an actual school to attend to go to the whole term to become a model?
I actually saw that they were having an open house on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, let me just go to this open house, see what it's all about. And so I did, and it was actually, they have 2 in DFW, one in Dallas and one in McKinney. Mm-hmm. The open house was actually the one in McKinney. And so I drove all the way to McKinney from Fort Worth, and I met the president of that school, and she was super nice, and I was like, dang, I really liked her, They just made me feel at home, I didn't feel out of place,
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, I think, I went home, thought about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So.
And that's part of the desire that kept you rolling whenever you saw the younger kids and you made a good friend, a great friend,
Hmm.
but then, that just kept you motivated to keep going because that's what you wanted to do.
Right. And then so the president of the school, she ended up becoming my friend, because like, I don't know if it's because I'm maybe older. So we connected, in a way because she's older too. And so I ended up making like good friends out of it and good connections. And so I was like, okay.
That's crazy.
So
So when was your very first assignment or your very first job that you got? And how did you feel whenever you got the actual job for modeling?
it took a while after I got signed. I was auditioning left and right, and it's a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first job was HEB.
HEB is a big deal, yeah.
The
I
grocery
used to
store.
work at HEB. Howard, nobody knows this. HEB stands for Howard Edward Butt, which is the initials of the owner of the
Right.
actual man that created HEB. I'm very familiar with
Yeah,
HEB.
that I knew that because HEB is big in South Texas.
Yes.
So
And they have great stuff too, by the way.
I wish we had one nearby. I know we have one like
Closer, a lot closer.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes away closer. HEB is the best. Shout out to HEB. So you were saying, so they got you.
So yeah, that was my
Nice.
first commercial, and it was around. It was like called like tables. It was like holiday tables, so it was around Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
And I actually went back home for Thanksgiving to Corpus, and it was so funny because I'm looking down, and then I hear the little music, and I was like, "Hey, that's my commercial!"
The jingle?
And it was like I don't remember like some little tune, like the music that they play, and I was like, "That's my commercial!" And so like my family was all around me, so we all got to witness it like on the TV pop up instead of me like looking it up like 10 times on YouTube,
So you can find
So
it on YouTube?
It was nice. Not anymore. I don't think it's there anymore. I haven't looked.
We'll
but
do some digging, see if we can find it.
Yeah.
So how did your family react whenever they saw you?
It was exciting because it was
Yeah.
like, hey, but it was like, commercials, they're like super quick. So you're there for like 2 seconds.
Still, though, I'm pretty
But-
sure all your hard work going through classes and then having them witness, even though it was like a spontaneous type of just came up.
Yeah, that
That's
was
crazy.
cool. And that was my first commercial too. So that was a neat experience
Yeah.
altogether.
How did the process go for the first time to having to get to used to what's going on and what it takes to do a commercial? How did that go for you?
What do you mean?
The first time you shot the commercial for HEB, like going into set and having everything
So it
done?
was actually in Austin.
Oh, wow.
So I drove to Austin and, everyone's just there. So it was a nice, cool experience. It was really fun. There's a lot of us there, and it's like you become family with these people, and you've only known them for a certain amount of hours, 10 hours, 12 hours,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's so much fun. It's like, but you're just there waiting, there's a lot of going on with production. So you're waiting, but it was fun.
So it was a whole day event
Yeah. Cause we did like 2 or 3 different locations.
for one commercial.
Yep.
And how many total people were involved? Like it's actors and of course the camera people and everybody else, a bunch of. But as far as the actors, how many was there?
There was like more than 10 of us.
Really?
At least.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And when you were there, how did you feel? Like, I mean, of course, having to talk to people
It
and
was so cool. I didn't know what to expect. Like it was my first time,
yeah,
and everyone was just so nice. And they were like I said, you become family, friends with these people. And it's kind of sad because like maybe you'll see them on set another
Yeah.
time. Maybe you won't.
yeah.
But it's because everyone, they're from San Antonio. Someone was from Houston. I was from the Dallas area. So like all these people are just coming from all over Texas
Yeah.
for this
Absolutely.
commercial.
So was that before the acting came to you, before you wanted to be a police officer, or was that when you were an actual model that you wanted to pursue also maybe wanted to maybe be a police officer or no?
That was before.
That was before? So did
That
you
was
actually
like in 2019, I think maybe. Yeah, because that's when I started CrossFit, and I was never consistent in the gym,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to become a cop, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to get myself in the gym because they do a physical test,
A lot of physical stuff.
but that came and left.
So you took the whole
I
test
still
and
think
everything,
about it.
right?
Just the written exam, but I took it once and I never passed. So
You never passed? How close were you?
I was close, but
Yeah.
I remember like walking out and the girl was like, just keep trying. And did it once and never did it again.
You say that comes sometimes as far as being a police officer. Like, where does that come from for you?
Yeah, because like I have a day job. People know. Some people know. Like my close friends, family know I have a day job, and so I work for the government on my day job, and so.
Be careful what you say.
So I'm still in it, but I'm also like, it's like I have one foot in, and I have one foot in the whole modeling and acting stuff.
Because I remember the first individual you interview on your podcast. I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he's actually full time. But he did mention, what was his name?
His name is Scott.
Scott does it full time, but he did have that to where he's more mature now.
Right.
But he actually went full time. It is scary that to let go of the state paycheck because you have to go into and then got the hustle to get jobs. So, but people don't understand maybe, and I don't myself either, because I don't know what it takes to go to a shoot or wait patiently for your agency to find your jobs, and then the jobs don't really come fast. So you eventually you do have to find ways to make money. So I don't think people might. We always want to, like, for example, I'm sure you always want to just show the model part, but I'm thank you for sharing that part, that sometimes you just have to be patient. You still work in the modeling,
right?
But you still have to provide for yourself, and then additional costs that you have to do. I mean, it takes money to look good or do whatever you need to. You know what I mean? A lot of times they don't pay it.
Yeah.
Like if you need whatever it is that you need, makeup, whatever, sometimes they might not provide it for you. So thank you. And when did you? So that was the first actual video. But do you still do like shoots and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do shoots
all the time.
And then I still like do work that I get through my agent as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, or in the outside clients. But
without saying any digits or numbers, is it pretty profitable as far as getting jobs and getting to be an actress? And is it a one-time time thing that they pay you for the work done, or do you get any kind of royalties or anything at the back end or anything like that?
It depends if there's a usage fee. So if like the commercial comes with a usage fee, then say like the usage fee is $3,000, right? But the session is $500. So you'll get paid $500 for the session, but you will get paid up to $3,000 for that commercial because it has a usage fee. Some don't have usage fees.
Wow.
So some it's like $800. Here, take pictures for 4 hours, and we'll use it for a year.
But there is limitations how long they can use it for. Like,
yeah, they'll always tell you like some are in perp, but you kind of want to. I mean, you could still work in. It's called like in perpetuity, where it's like you only get paid one time, but they could use it however many long. My agent,
till infinity.
Yeah, my agent's like they don't really they don't encourage in perpetuity because it's like they want you to make money. So, but people do that too as well.
I can see why though. Before you know it, you'll be a stock model and a website, and you can't do nothing about it.
And you got paid one time for it. Yeah, but everyone sees it.
And they use it over and over again. Yeah.
So
we use some of the stock footage sometimes.
It's the pros and cons, but the good ones will pay you usage fee.
You know what? Learn something new every day. I knew there was a way for models to make like a one-time deal. Wasn't maybe there was another option. That's pretty cool to know that. Okay, so about a year and some change, you set on the idea of a podcast with a friend. So before you know, you started launching your own podcast. You decided to launch April of this year.
Right.
Correct?
I'm fresh.
And the entire name of the podcast, Kimbo Slice of Life Podcast, correct?
Yes.
And you eat pizza, or you have a pizza there that's getting cold as you're interviewing people. That's what I was watching. Okay,
Yes.
so tell me about the whole concept of your podcast. Y'all thought about it for a while, and what did it take for you to just take action and start doing your podcast?
So I was having like a conversation with a friend, and he's like, I have mics, I have this, I can help you. And I was just like, he's like, use your resources. And I was like, well, it wasn't like I didn't want to. It was just like, it was a thought, it wasn't like something I wrote down and looked at it every day. Like it wasn't,
Yeah.
So, well, he was just like, he kind of helped me jumpstart. So that's what kind of made it a little bit easier because he already had all the equipment. And so he also is the one behind the camera. And so I was like, okay, well, let's do it. So, but eventually I do want to get my own stuff, but he helped me jumpstart. So I think that's what made it so much easier for me.
Okay, so Kimbo, I'm guessing a nickname for you. Your cousin used to call you. And then Slice, because he used to call you that without knowing an MMA fighter. Of Life, just trying to give it a spin-off and not necessarily related to the fighter? Or how did that come about?
So that name actually, before I knew what I was interviewing, I just thought about a name. So the name just came up like I don't know where. Like I was talking to my brother and I was like, I need help for a podcast name. And he's like, what are you going to talk about? And at this point I was like, myself. Right? I didn't know. Like I was like, it was just random. So he thought about it and then I was like, okay, actually I think I want to, then I got into my niche and I was like, okay, I want to interview creatives in the industry. So that's how it kind of shifted, you know.
Creatives in the industry as far as modeling?
Modeling, like models, actors, photographers, or fashion designers, stylists.
So anything to do with the niche of modeling, those are the type of people that you want in your content. That's what you have had. Makeup artists, photographers, male models.
And actors. Yeah.
Actors too. Wow.
So yeah. So it kind of like, after the first episode, I kind of like switched gears a little bit. I was like, okay, this is what I finally like became, I wouldn't say schedule, but like a routine. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. Which kind of doesn't fit the name anymore. And I was just like, because a lot of people like were like, well, what's your podcast about? And I was like, I interview creatives in the industry, but I know the name doesn't actually say that, you know? So.
Have you been pondering or switching the name at all? Or you want to keep it that way? Or maybe a different, that fits the niche. That word is so hard. English is my second language. So that niche for that? Or you just want to keep it the way it is? The only reason I'm telling you is because when I looked up Kimbo Slice, homie
he
popped
came up, yeah.
RIP him, but he came up all the time. You come up eventually, but
I was going to do a season, right? And so I know the holidays are coming up. I was going to close it out and come back in January at the end of the year. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll revamp the spelling or something. I still like the pizza idea, right? That's where I got the slice pizza. I haven't fully thought about it yet. I don't know what I want to do. Or just, spell it different or something. But I think for the second season, I will try to recreate.
So it does stand out as far as life, slice of life, and then you have the pizza. When did the idea of putting the pizza in the podcast come about? Hello, we're jumping in just to let you know to make sure you subscribe and hit the notification if you are enjoying the podcast. Thank you very much. And now back to the episode.
It was actually the first episode. My acting coach, Scott, shout out to Scott. He was like, you should have a pizza. And I was like, he goes, where's the pizza? Because he asked, where's the pizza? And I was like, oh, the pizza guy's late, right? But I was like, that's a good idea. He goes, you should have a pizza for every episode. Because it's like, I have a pizza in my picture, You do. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then so I thought about it. I was like, okay, I'll have a pizza. I'll go to local areas in Fort Worth and, try to talk to them, see if maybe anybody would
sponsor you a pizza?
Yeah.
Good idea. I don't like the fact that it just gets cold and nobody gets to eat it.
They eat it after the episode.
It takes like 20 minutes to be cold by then. That was just my personal thoughts.
No, but literally they will eat it.
The whole pizza.
I was like, take the pizza because at this point I eat pizza like twice a month now and I'm like over it. So I tell them, I was like, take the pizza, take it home, eat it. But no, people will like eat it cold. There's a little microwave.
Yeah.
But everyone's honestly ate it cold.
Cold pizza is good.
But it gets there like right when the episode starts.
That's crazy.
But it's still a little cold. But
I mean,
no one has complained yet.
My thoughts were like, I can't believe they eat cold pizza. But again, cold pizza's good.
Someone asked me that the other day. They were like, so do y'all eat the pizza afterwards? And I'm like, yes.
Spoiler, they eat the pizza after the episode's done. So if you ever see that pizza afterwards, it's gone.
It's a real pizza,
It's a real pizza, too, by the way. It's not a prop. I would have put a prop in it. But it's a good idea, though, to be people involved around where you stay at, visit them, show them what you're working with, and then have some, at least sponsor a pizza. That'd be pretty dope.
At the end of every episode, I ask my guests what their favorite pizza is.
You do? I've noticed that a trend. That's
Yeah.
why I asked you what's your favorite pizza, which I already knew what your favorite pizza was.
I know I'm boring.
Huh? No, you're not. I mean, can't go with the classic pepperoni pizza, the one that pretty much just start you off, either cheese or pepperoni. So I don't think you're boring. I think it's very, you know what you want. Why you have to switch it around?
Yeah.
Try throwing some hot sauce, Valentina, on it, and be like, shh. Then you'd be more exciting, a lot more. Okay, so while you're having and booking your own interview, I don't know if you have anybody else booking your guests. I'm guessing some of the people. When we started this podcast, the first few episodes were every homie that I knew that had something going on.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time were people that had 5 years in whatever industry they were doing, and then I hit them up and book my own interview. Still to this day, I still do the same thing. Carlos happened to help me. He found you, that you were very interested. I seen what you had going on. I'm like, yes. I don't fit your niche as far as getting an interview, but I see where you're going with it. But I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I see he sees something sometimes in people that I might not see, because he had me some people. He booked me some people, and maybe I don't see the picture that he's seen. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. But anyways, it took me a minute to book my own. Do you book your own guests, or do you have somebody else do it, or is it just people that you met in the industry?
So I find my people, but it's also people that that I've met. So like, I know I'm only like 9 episodes in, but every single person that I've had on my podcast, I've known them like on a personal level.
Yeah.
I know I can't do that for every episode because I'm not gonna know everybody, right? But for me starting out, it was like, I was like, kind of wanted like someone that I already like know. Yeah. So every person that I've had, I want to say like 7 out of the 9 now. I've been to all their houses. You know, like it's like on a personal level. Personal. But they're also in the industry. So it kind of works out.
Yeah.
But I know it's not going to happen every time. And then my friends are like, well, you're not going to know everybody you want to interview. Because I have had some inquiries and I'm like shy because I was like, I don't know this person. So I feel like I don't know if it's because I don't know anything about them. But then that's the part about doing your research. So I haven't had someone on the podcast yet that I have not met.
Okay. So I appreciate you very much taking a chance with us and letting you talk to you, because we are strangers, but I feel you on that part though, right? But for me to research people, I deal with a lot of people that are strangers that become, right, like homies or people that I work with. But the research that I do, I look at so many things that I feel like I know them by the time they get to sit down here. You know what I mean? So to me, don't feel like strangers. I see what you're saying. Maybe not that. Not to mention, I don't know exactly where you record from, but we're in a public space here, right. So it's kind of difficult. So that's very important for your part. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So you handpick so far right now the people that have been in there. What kind of research do you do as far as them? As far as like, just because you know them personally, or you dig into some of their things that they have going on to know more about them?
Well, because I know them, I know what they do, and also just, off their social media as well.
Yeah.
So I see them working, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll ask about this, I'll ask about that, but we'll talk about, a previous, what we've done together, if we did any work together, like stuff like that. Yeah. So it just makes it a little easier for me, I guess.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if you were to do it by yourself, what were you going to talk about?
Not by myself. Like I was going to have guests, but I didn't know I was going to interview models, actors, creatives,
It's a great idea.
That wasn't until after the first episode that I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea to network, grow your net worth, everybody seems to be doing a podcast, but
That's what I feel like.
But there's only ones that stand out because you're providing a service to the people around you too and helping them grow.
Right.
Help you grow, help establish connections with other people. They see you staying busy. Not to mention, if for whatever reason they see you posting on IG for like 2 weeks of modeling stuff, at least every 2 weeks or every day or every other day, they see you posting consistently on your podcast that you're doing. Like for me, it's like daily. So you're always going to be on people's faces. So it's a good idea. It's a great tool. So that's pretty cool. What else do you have in mind to do for the podcast? Your questions are very particular as far as what's your favorite slice of pizza? The last time you did something for the first time. I love that question, by the way. When did you come up with that question?
I think I heard it. I can't remember where I heard it, but I heard it from somewhere.
Yeah,
And I kind of stumped him on that one.
you did.
I don't think he was expecting that.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I got you too. Because it's a great freaking question. It really is. So I was like, okay. And then your other questions, do you think about the questions that you're going to be asking beforehand, or as you're talking, things come to mind?
No, I have a little notebook on the couch.
You do?
I'm old school. I know, I'm so old school. I was like, I have to write it down. I go back to their social media. I was like,
of course.
Talk about what they, what they specialize in. So
That's great.
then I'll ask him about that, and if we worked together previously, then I'll just throw that in there too.
Yeah.
So
That's great. So season 2, you planning to still bring the pizza back, maybe changing a couple things around and expanding your guests? You're still sticking to every 2 weeks episodes, right? Release?
yes,
Yeah.
until I need to network more. Until because people only see the podcast what I put out, because I'm doing it by myself. So I need to meet more people, network, and then I'll bring different people in.
Whenever you said that, it felt like you don't like to go out and talk to people, which I feel you on that, because sometimes I'm not a big...
Only
it works so effective, though,
only
too.
because I live so far. Everything is here in Dallas. And it's
so nothing's going on in Fort Worth as far as modeling?
Not like networking events.
Okay, so Fort Worth's modeling scene, does it exist or does it not exist at all?
Everything's mainly in Dallas, so I'll come to Dallas. I don't mind that. But when it's the networking events, I have a day job.
Yeah.
Traffic.
Of course.
So those are the things I put into factor. But a lot of network events are during the week, as to the weekend,
and later in the afternoon too. And you got to get to bed early because you got to get to work.
Right, but that's one thing I need to work on.
It's super efficient. Networking. It's super efficient. Well, DMing is working the DMs on your social media super effective. Emails. Mm-hmm. We haven't got to the emails, but wait for your email, please. I haven't done that yet. But going to places, like the other day we went to this event, and 3 people that I got to talk to. Lady that works on pets, that's Latina. To me, everything's Latina related content. Mm-hmm. It's not excluding no Latino. I have people that are not Latinos. I feel it's cool to interchange cultures, how we came up, but everything's focused. But that day, 3 Latinos, a lady that works on dog stuff, grooming, and a holistic doctor lady, and then some other person. But it's just like that, I got 3 interviews that I'm in the future I'm going to be doing. So they work. They're super effective. And especially for your modeling, everything that you do, commercial and everything, podcasting too. When you tell them your podcast, they'd love to talk to you.
I don't really I kind of keep it separate a little bit. Just like with the modeling and acting, I don't really tell people about my day job unless they know me. And the same thing at my day job, I don't tell them I model and act.
I feel you on that. I might be.
But I mean, since I work for the government, they know because they did a background check on me.
Everything.
Yeah, they know.
Anybody brings it up to you?
Just they didn't bring it up, and I was just like, so how did my background check do? Which I'm not a criminal, obviously. And they're like, oh, we saw these videos of you, and I was like, how? Because they were for my acting profiles.
Yeah.
So they're like demo reels, they're fake commercials for the clients to see that they know that I can do it, the commercial. And I was like, wait, how did y'all see that? Because that's not public. So that was weird. But, I mean, they know. My manager knows. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, again, just a suggestion for me, everything that I do as far as the podcasting, like the day thing, they might not know. But if I'm out and about on myself, especially with the networking of your modeling, incorporating that, because you actually have the niche of those individuals, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to love to talk to you and, just be part of whatever you're doing. So just a suggestion, I think, because I know how to link it together, and I did it myself with that. I'm like, yeah, it works, but not with the day job.
I'm also shy, though.
Huh?
I'm also shy.
You're not.
I don't want to, DM someone and, leave me on red. I was like, okay.
See, that's different, though, because, well, you're a beautiful girl, too. It's different. So, for me, it's more, the podcast page doesn't have nobody's logo, face, anything. So, he might be him, and they
Oh,
they
so you
don't
don't
know.
know who it is. Yeah.
Yes. So whoever DMs, they don't know if it's a person or not, or my admin reaching out for an interview. All they know is I have my own personal too that here and there I use it to reach out to
Mm-hmm.
people, but most of the time I just use the generic, my podcast one that doesn't have a person in it, and they don't know who it is. Sometimes I tell them who it is. I'm the host of this podcast. Would you like to be? I get left on red too all the time. Out of 10, 20 maybe DMs, some don't come. And you know what's funny? One person I reached out to didn't acknowledge my DM whatsoever. Never read it. 2 months later, she was on my podcast because of somebody else that brought it over. And I thought it was hilarious because I told her, "Hey, you might want to check your unread DMs." Like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you were right there." Like, it's just business to me, you know. It's a business. I wanna.
I don't know. I take it personal.
You do? Why is that? Why you feel like it would be
Because
personal?
I'm a girl. I don't know. Well, especially if they're like, "Hey, I want to be on your podcast," then I reach back out to them and then they don't reply. I'm just like, then why did you ask to be on the podcast?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We get those too.
Especially if they're reaching out. I'm like, okay, give me some time. You know, I got to schedule it. And then I reach back out and they don't say nothing.
You know what? So what I used to do with Carlos, we used to have a plan B because people do that. Sometimes they flake on me. Literally 3 days ago, I checked with them and they were going to be here. The day of, sometimes you can't help it. They got car trouble. They got whatever the case might be. So what I used to do was call it solo episodes where I would just discuss things by myself, which is not as exciting as having somebody else because you're accustomed. But I wouldn't lose the day because on the other studios that I had time that I booked. So it's expensive for me to do a podcast episode. So I don't want to waste my time if I can go ahead and record something at that time. But that was just me. But it's not cool to cancel on people. But I feel you on that because most of the podcasters that you probably run into, we run into the same thing. You're not alone. We do it all the time. I get canceled on left and right. And then the day of or 2 days before, I'm hurrying up and trying to DM somebody else.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
It is. But people are willing to, for me at least, I found that they're willing to be ready to come in and help me out. And we just keep it rolling. I don't take it personal either.
Well,
Plus,
I've noticed a pattern though.
What's that?
It's mainly females. The guys.
I'm not saying nothing, ladies.
The guys are like, yeah. I ask you one time, they're in it, no matter who they are. But it's like the females. I'm just like, okay, because I wanted more.
But you know them though, right?
There's this one I didn't really know. I asked her, and she's like, "I'd love to," and then she didn't say anything. I was like, okay, because I wanted I didn't want just guys. You know, I wanted to mix it up a little bit. But
you know what I'm having now? You know, for me, what I'm having a season of nothing but females.
Really,
if you look at all my podcast releases lately and recordings, it's like 4 females and 1 or 2 guys.
I know, because
maybe just the modeling.
I was like, well, maybe I'm just not gonna be picky about it, because I was trying to do like every 3rd, 4th episode of female, right? Because those are harder to come by, and then I was like, okay, you know what, whatever. I'm not gonna drive myself crazy over it.
Got you. So. Well, Carlos and I usually stack. Well, I swear I'm having trouble speaking today. Stacking up the episodes. So right now we have about 4 or 5 episodes already recorded, ready to go.
Yeah, I saw that.
I never stop being consistent with it. That if somebody doesn't show up, then the other person I will be able to have. And we did that by design whenever we launched the episode. So we launched on May, but we have been recorded since February.
Oh, wow.
And during the course of that time, we lost some episodes because we used to have a co-host, and we didn't have a co-host no more. So some of those can't come out anymore. So you know what I mean? It's all the little preparation things that we did beforehand. So season 2, maybe some of the things could line up for you. But do you think it's the model girls, maybe they're just not too...
It is.
It is?
Because I've had this conversation literally the other day and with Scott, actually, and he's like, because he just started his own podcast, too.
Oh, wow.
And so
I was you inspire him so much.
I was like, how's that going for you? And then I told him same thing, told him the problem. I was like, yeah, I can't get females. And I was like, models especially. And then he goes, the same thing. He had no comment. He's like, it's because they're models. And I was just like, he goes, with the exception of you. I was like, I'm not like that. I would, respond, say something.
Do you think it's because is they know they're pretty and people want to have them on their podcast to talk, or is it a little bit of entitlement because they're pretty, because they're models, or they just maybe shy too? Maybe they are shy, or maybe a few insecurities they don't want to show on their podcast.
It could be a little bit of both.
Uh,
But I'm the type of person I would like. You can at least say no, thank you. Just don't leave me on red.
you were raised different, though. We were raised different.
I know.
See what I mean? So that's got a lot to do with it too.
But it also could be entitlement. I don't know, because people probably think I'm entitled if they look at my social media, but because all you see is my face on there. But I don't know. Everyone's different, so.
You know what? I started seeing it whenever people started doing it. I used to get a little frustrated whenever they were canceling on me. But then I started thinking the people that need to be on the podcast
Will
be on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for both of us,
Mm-hmm.
For not only, I'm not pointing at you, for whoever my guest is, because I get to share your story. I get to talk to you. I get to tell other people the amazing thing you're doing. I don't know if Scott was inspired by you that you did your podcast, but eventually he launched,
Yeah.
You don't know who's watching or who had the desire to do something, but just haven't pulled the trigger yet on doing it. So that's why I get an opportunity to do so. Same thing for you. I have an audience. They are willing to go follow and see where you're at, what you're doing, maybe work with you, and they're willing to follow you. It might not be hundreds yet, but a few, 20, 10, 20, I think it's a fair deal to me. But again, I just don't take it as a loss anymore. No else. It's just like whoever needs to be here will be here. We'll create a great conversation about what you're doing, what I'm doing, and we just keep it rolling. But that's just for me.
It's so true because the one that I had, my makeup artist, she wasn't the original girl. There was another girl that was supposed to be on there first. And so I was like, after I thought about it, I was like, the makeup artist, she's like my most viewed video, right? Which I don't know why, because she's a girl or she's pretty or what, but
she's pretty. She spoke well. Maybe she has an audience too.
Yeah, she has a lot of supporters, and I was like, okay, well maybe that happened for a reason, you know. So like you said, whoever is meant to be on it.
I think so too. That's why I don't get too frustrated nowadays. It's just that like who needs to be here will be here, and it worked for the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just gonna roll that way with it. It's been 2 years with the live podcast itself. Well, 2 years with the podcast, putting out episodes. But throughout that time, I've been learning a few things and dismissing a few things, and I think it's working for us as far as Latino representation. People are doing amazing things, have hopes and dreams. Your story, sharing story. There's power in sharing. I heard it from the guy that left Britain that used to be a prince, whatever his name is. He used to be like a royalty, and now he's not royalty anymore. He lives.
Oh, the prince.
Yeah, he left, and one of the.
Name. I know who you're talking about though.
Shout out to the homie. So he left, and one of the interviews, because I used to like the Late Show interviews, Colbert had he said something about there's power in sharing, which is so true, because your story, whatever you're doing, that you feel like you're shy or you're whatever, but you still get to do it, and you still took action on going into school for modeling. Some people might be, again, like Scott. You don't know if you were the inspiring little spark that lit him up to go ahead and do it. But you don't ever know who it is. And with the sharing of your knowledge of the things that you've been doing, you don't know what kind of people are listening and waiting to hear that they're not alone. That they're still waiting for somebody to hear from, like maybe you, and go further in life. So great. Yeah. So what else do you have as far as modeling? What is the biggest brand so far that you have worked with for modeling?
I would say, well, for modeling or for acting, I would say acting.
You can know either one. I think HEB is a big deal. It's a huge deal.
I did Bud Light, but you couldn't see me in that one.
Really?
I was in the back. Yeah.
So the Bud Light?
But you couldn't see me. I was in the back. So
that's so good. You did. I wasn't there in the Bud Light commercial, but still.
That one was cool. That was a lot of people though. That was like over 40 people.
40 people? And that was also in Austin, or that was here?
That one was, I forgot. No, that was in Houston.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they pay for all your expenses to go over there, and it's also about a 10, 12-hour shoot, or how long did that one take?
That one was 10 hours. Yeah, it was all day.
Yeah.
But they don't pay for it. You have to be local. Like it's called. You have to be willing to work local. So they don't pay you to go out there.
Yeah.
Because ever since I don't know if it's changed since COVID, but yeah, if it's like Austin, Dallas, Houston, you have like you gotta be willing to work local. Some will pay if you like live out of state or certain mileage, or some production will pay, but those.
I mean, you still get to put it on your resume, your model resume that you were there. Maybe look, you have to look really close, but I'm in that shoot. I mean,
the one you can. I was in Cece's Pizza too.
You were in Cece's? Cece's is a big deal.
But you can only notice me if you know it's me.
I'm sorry. Looking.
You know the Cece's Pizza, the one with like Karen in it, and they have like the guy flying on the little bike. That commercial. But I walk behind Karen, so like you can't really tell it's me unless you know it's me.
So now we know it's you. We're gonna have to go and find the Cece's commercial.
That one's still out, I think. Yeah? We did that like a year ago. That one's still out.
That's pretty crazy. What other one have you done? That's pretty neat, though. That's pretty cool to me.
I did Pizza Patron, but I did that one like in March, or not March, May. I haven't seen it though. I don't know. You heard of Pizza Patron?
Do they have it? Yeah, of course. But did they send you the work, the final product, or you just somebody tells you it's out?
No, I look for it. Like.
You're on their face.
I'm that kind of crazy.
You're hunting.
I would look for it, like Google on Instagram. I was like, man, where is it? But the pizza, I haven't seen that one.
No?
Pizza Patron, I haven't seen that one. But that one was like in March. Or no, I keep saying March, May. But I don't even know if it's out. Sometimes you don't make the cut. Sometimes they don't even put it out. Either way, you still get paid. But
okay, so you have a passion for the modeling, because even if you're not willing to be compensated. Like for Houston, you still take yourself over there to do it.
Right.
What keeps you after? I know you said DM and not being read, take it personal, but at the same time, whenever you go to all these auditions and they don't accept you, you'll be a little bit kind of like the same. I would take it more harsh, but what keeps you driven as far as like keep showing up and keep wanting to do this, whatever it is that they have you for, whatever job, trying out for them. I don't know why. The word was there and it left me, I swear. Auditions.
No, when I audition and then I forget about it. That way, that's like the best momentum or way to go about it. Because it's like I'm not gonna keep checking my email and seeing if they want to call back or, memorizing this date, because they're all different dates. So
Did you learn that over time? Did you used to in the beginning whenever?
Yeah, I caught that from just the people around me that acted like, oh, you just audition and you forget about it. Because there's no reason, hindering yourself over like, dang, I didn't get it, because you get like auditions throughout the week. Like I just got an audition today. Like it's my third audition this week.
Really?
So yeah, like the other two, I auditioned and forgot about it. So same thing. I'm gonna go audition for this commercial tomorrow, and then I'm gonna forget about it.
I finally got to the point with the podcast, because sometimes when you put an episode out, you're always looking at the numbers and see how it is and subscribers. At least for me, I did in the beginning. But I can't. But it's almost the same concept, right? You set it up and you promote it and keep pushing it, and then you forget it because it's gonna do what it's gonna do. So I'm gonna take that.
That's different. I feel like, because I feel like it's
the same a little bit.
I audition, I turn it in, I don't ever see it again.
Well, it's kind of like an audition for the people.
I don't know who's watching it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the casting directors. I don't know the producers, the directors. They don't know me.
Yeah.
They think I'm crazy and they don't like it. I was like, okay, I won't know, because I don't see that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the views and the downloads on the podcast, I'm just like, because I can see it.
It's patience, though. Still, though.
I'm just refreshing my YouTube. Anybody look at it yet?
I feel like I know you, because I do the same thing. Like, dang, not one person watched it in 2 hours.
I get upset. I was like, what am I doing this to myself?
I actually been doing what you've been doing with the auditions without wanting to for that. Just let it be, promote it, keep pushing it, and I know that people are gonna watch it, and I just need to be patient with it and let it be. Mm-hmm. And I just keep kind of the audition, like look the other way. And then when I go back a couple of weeks later, maybe I'm like, oh shoot, 100 views, yes. So okay, we're running short on time. Thank you very much for being here. A couple more
Of
questions.
course.
So, what else? All your social media, and what events you got coming up, or projects that you got lined up for the podcast, for the modeling.
What events?
I don't know if you're doing any events. You do events, or if you projects that you have. Maybe, of course, auditions. But I don't know if anything. I think it's pretty cool that once you forget it, though, get a, if you get the actual job, then you get a
It's a surprise. Yeah.
yeah. So I like that.
Um,
But anything that you have right now in the works?
besides the podcast, I'm doing one tomorrow.
You're doing a podcast
Tomorrow,
episode
I'm
tomorrow.
recording a session tomorrow. Yeah, but other than that, right now, just auditioning and
Auditioning.
waiting for that booked email.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to get plenty of them. You have another tool now that you can use to show who you are as a
Right.
person. They might not realize when they're seeing it or enough time on an audition to really get to know who you are. But
Mhm.
hopefully they can see it with their own eyes. All your social media for your podcasting and whatever social media you use?
My personal is Kimberly, but it's spelled like Kimburlee and then Sanchez. And then the podcast is a Kimbo Slice of Life. So
Yeah, all those are going to be on the subscription. Make sure you follow her podcast. Go subscribe to her podcast. I'm going to put the
Please.
information also on the no. They're
I
going
only
to
have
subscribe.
like 27 subscribers.
They're going to subscribe because you're here. So we're going to get your numbers up. So make sure you go and subscribe to her podcast. Go follow her. She got a great, amazing pictures that you have for all the work that you do. I haven't seen a lot of the videos. They don't let you put some of those little clips in there.
I don't really post it like on my feed.
Mm-hmm.
It's mainly like
Your story.
just the pictures. Yeah, I'll post it on my story, but it's mainly like, to me, I feel like my Instagram is kind of like a portfolio in a way.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't mix it up. I haven't posted any like videos or just a story.
See, I remember those individuals that you had on the podcast that were talking about how your presence and what you do as far as like, I think there was about dating. But anyways, cleaning up your Instagram and making it look a certain way.
Oh yeah,
And you follow that too. Not me. My stuff is all over the place. Over here, post a car over here, post something else over there. Like, just all kinds of, like, what does this guy do? I don't know. He does, so maybe my niche is not consistent because I don't follow their rules or their advice to make sure I clean it up. But you do. It looks great. Your
it
IG looks
also
great.
drives me crazy because I'm like,
Why?
I'm super clean, so like if I feel like it doesn't match, if I were to post like just a regular picture on my Instagram,
Yeah.
as to like have all these professional, I think that would bother me because I know it's not professional.
We might have
I'm just weird like that. I don't know.
it's not because you have as a model, you have to play the part of a model
Mhm.
all the way through, including the image, which is just for other people to see that that's who you are. It's not
Like,
weird
I'll
or
post it on my
strange.
story.
Of course,
Like if I'm at Disneyland, I'm gonna post it on my story, but you will not see it on my feed.
for the thumbnail and the flyer we do. I'm gonna have to have him get a couple pictures of you,
Mhm.
so make sure we're good.
I'll post it on my story. I can't
But
promise
not
you
in
it's
your
gonna
feed.
be on my feed.
I'll tag you,
Just
and if
kidding.
I see decline, I'm gonna be like, okay, I was expecting that. It's okay. She gave me a heads
It
up.
was so-
Other people, you do that, and they don't tell you nothing. They
No,
just
it's-
decline.
It's so funny. Actually, I was talking to my friend
Uh-huh.
because she's like, I saw you did some brand. It was like Salute, like the other day, and he collaborated with me, and I did not want to collab like when you collab the post. I did not want to collab the post on Instagram. Was it like an IV, like a after alcohol and right?
Oh yeah, one
After
of
you
those
drink alcohol,
oral
like
IVs.
hydration.
Yeah, I got you. But you were
But
not
I'm
happy.
I'm saying like the photographer wanted to do a collab on my Instagram, and
Uh-huh.
so I did for a couple of days. And then my friend's like, "I went to go look." Literally on our way over here, she goes, "I didn't see it on your on your profile." I was like, "Yeah, because I took off the
What
collab."
did you didn't like about it?
Because
it
I'm
wasn't-
weird.
it
I
wasn't-
told you. Because I'm weird. Like
No, not weird, but it wasn't
just
something
didn't-
that you didn't find interesting, or they went with whatever you like.
correct.
What
Like,
is your look? Because I remember on the interview you have a particular with a photographers and with your style you have a particular style. What is your style? If you were to say that you had a style,
I would say like lifestyle.
lifestyle,
Yeah, like yeah.
and what is that? be a lifestyle? The Drake lifestyle? No.
No, like more like I wouldn't say there's like just like street. I do
I
a lot
see
of like
that.
street
I see that.
lifestyle portraits, stuff like that.
Okay, so that's your thing.
Yeah,
And the
that's my
photographers that
thing.
you work is capture that. They're known for that type of style of pictures.
Yes, because I
Okay.
feel like if I was like, oh, okay, they're, they have the same kind of concepts I like. So yeah, I wouldn't like go to a photographer that, I mean, I could, but I would rather someone who does around the same
From what I got from
concepts.
you from the interviews that you're accustomed to who you know, what the work you do, so you stay with the familiar ones to be able to know what you're gonna like instead of having to explore and waste time maybe on the ones that you're not sure because you don't know their work. But the ones you work with, you already know.
Now, yes.
You're
Before,
starting to
when
get
I
out
just start, no, before I just started, I'd work with whoever without realizing like, okay, I don't like that, or I don't like this, or going to shoots by myself. Like, you're always supposed to
That's
take people.
dangerous.
Exactly. So in the
Yeah.
beginning, like I would take every opportunity that came to me.
Mm,
So now I'm more picky just because just the world we live in today, And then
absolutely.
plus if the photographer's like, oh, I like the way they edit their pictures, I'm going to work with them.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, any shout outs do you have? Shout outs to anybody, whether in the industry, your family, parents, cousin, tia. Who do you have?
Shout out to Drake. I'm just kidding. He doesn't even know
She's a
me.
big. When did your first love of Drake come to be? Before we leave,
I think it was 2009, 2010.
why song, look,
It was a song. It was one of my friends actually, and she introduced me to Drake. And ever
By
since
introducing
then,
me his music, not him.
yeah,
Not yet.
his music.
Not yet.
I keep saying I'm gonna meet
We're
Drake.
going to make it. You're going to make it happen. Scott believed that you will be able to make it happen. I have no doubt that you will. Again, consistency is key. And one of these days, you'll make it happen.
On the
What song was it?
real side, it was November 18th.
That was the name?
That was the name of the song. Yeah.
Don't beat me up. I don't know much about Drake,
It's
so I
okay.
know a couple of songs. But I'm started from the bottom over here, though. Know that one. Okay, so this one is for anybody that's coming up in the modeling or the business of the podcasting. What a lesson, and a very important lesson that you learn that you will tell your younger self that will help somebody else. What would that be?
I would just say like, don't give up. If something is in the back of your mind, like, go for it, because it will always stay there until you finally do it.
Yeah, I heard that too from Scott. I think he said it too. They wouldn't leave you alone. They just keep showing up all the time.
Yeah, that's how the podcast happened. Like, it was always in the back of my mind, and it never left.
Yeah.
So then it's gonna stay there until you actually do something about it.
Okay. And this was a deeper question. I hope you're okay. And I hope this is just a question, federal people, cops, popos. I usually when I wake up or throughout my day, I say I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. And that's not to scare me or to frighten me or terrorize me. It's just the fact of life, right? We're not here forever. And it kind of gives me urgency to be able to just keep consistently doing things all the time. With that, I wish you a long, prosperous life. However, when everything's said and done with your life, what do you want people to feel or think about your life?
That I made a big impact. Like, I was an impact to them in some sort of way.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time you came from Fort Worth, which is like about an hour away, through traffic in the middle. So thank you very much. Carlos introduced me to what you was doing. I didn't realize all the other stuff that you have done is super important. I know that you were doing the podcast. And as far as the work you're done, I mean, to me, I think it's super crazy cool. HEB, CC's, but like whether it be smaller roles or not, it's still, you keep showing up, right? So it came from you and your friend taking pictures to all of a sudden now you're finding yourself in auditions and then now even on a podcast. So I think to me that's amazing. So without a doubt, Kimbo Slice, you are a global lighting factor. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
This was another episode of the Global Lighting Factor podcast. Remember, we are just like you. We're the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time. Thank you very much for checking out another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast. Subscribe to the channel. You are very important, and it means a lot to us whenever you subscribe and hit the bell so you can know when we release new episodes. Again, it makes a big difference to us, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Walks like a pedo, but in fact he's a flamingo. Coming to Havana, Henry from Puerto Rico. On a pirate ship, he don't know where do we go. The birds of the jungle.